What do you guys think about the girls that go crazy in worship? Those girls who just okay. So you guys already know what's up. All right. If that's not an answer enough, all right. But we're gonna go ahead and then we'll flip it. So first, Mike, when a girl just gives her all in worship, what do you think of that?
I think it's beautiful because, as a musician, you're how do I put this? You're taught to kind of maintain control, right? When you're playing, you're taught not to just get off the drums and start praising God. So as a result, I'm naturally more stoic, and I've always been kind of like that anyway, just naturally more, calm demeanor. So as a result, you kind of have that going, but it's nice to see someone that's out there just worshiping, just letting it all out, just letting it go, willing to sacrifice themselves, their appearance, their look, and all that, whatever it is, whatever they have on, they don't care about none of that. It's just a direct connection to God, direct focus with God. It's like they just literally take everything out, everything in the room, just blanket out, and all they tunnel vision. All they see is God. It's like they put in like binoculars, focusing on a particular point, focusing on a point the whole time. But it reminds me when I used to play basketball, they'd always tell you when you're shooting, focus on the backboard, focus on that point, that specific point. Don't look at nothing else. And I think there's a beauty to that, being able to get past all the clutter, all the mess, all the things that are in your way, all the obstacles, and being able to still see the light at the end of the tunnel. You know what I mean? So I think that's beautiful.
That's what's up.
What do you got to say, Cam? What do you got to say?
Okay, so I kind of want to take a different angle here. We were talking about discernment, and we were talking about what was it we were saying? Oh, fake worship. I think it's beautiful. I'm like Mike. I think it's beautiful when a girl is just like focused in and everything. But like, I think I'm not gonna stop there. I'm just gonna kind of shift over to like when it's over, when the camp is over, it's just kind of like that fruit's just kind of molded. It's just like, hold on, like this is it almost makes that worship look worse. You know what I mean? Like it looked like they gave their all and you were taken by it. And then afterwards it's just like, But I will say that during that time of looking at it and saying, wow, that's amazing, that it is, I guess you could say, attractive to a guy, and it's kind of drawing it in. I just like, there's this other side of things of, okay, is it genuine?
Yeah. And I think you have to spend like time with the person to see if it's genuine, because like Carmen said, plastic trees produce plastic fruit. And so if someone's faking, if they're fronting, if that's like, then at some point you're going to be able to read the fruit at some point. So
Right.
Maybe, hopefully it's not like when you're dating, like hopefully it's like when you're kind of like in that talking stage. If it,
better dating than when you're married.
Well, there you go.
Well,
there you go. Now before we flip it over to the ladies and ask them, what is it, I don't want to say do to you, but like what is it like for when a guy goes crazy in worship, when he's focused on God? Like, oh, real quick, let me answer that. Okay, to me it's crazy. It's where it's like wow, all right, given over to God, like what Mike, what you said about she's not caring how she looks, because in general, okay, being nice, women tend to care about how they look probably more so than guys when it comes to like the dress and the hair and stuff like that. Guys just majority of the time just not really thinking about all that. So that barrier of like, how do I look, isn't as prominent with guys. I'm not saying it's not there. Some guys it is there, some guys it's not at all, especially when it comes to worship. But when someone like is like, I don't care about that, or that doesn't matter to me as much as my relationship with Jesus and giving him worship that he is deserving of, that's like, it does something it'll do something to you. No, but it gets you, like, wow, like gets you thinking on a deeper level. So it's definitely something that is at the very least attractive, the very least. But
yeah, well, they don't when they don't care about how they look and they worship and you feel it as genuine, like it's very attractive. Very attractive.
Yeah, most definitely. What's up, Carmen?
All right, I'm ready to answer this question. So, yeah, Avi, when you're like, girls tend to really care about how they look, I was like, immediately something popped in my head. I was like, gotta say this. So, one thing that, I mean, as not all dudes, but a lot of dudes deal with today is this, I think this pressure to refrain from emotional manifestations. Like, so if I see a dude that's like worshiping, if I see a dude that's crying in front of other human beings and is like and like is just like has like, that is a display of emotion that I think not all people in general, but in this context of this conversation, that guys might not be really comfortable doing, or maybe like they haven't either grown up in a way or whatever in a way that allows them to tap into that. And so when a guy is just worshiping hardcore, that shows that he is willing and able to tap into the emotions that come from being connected to God in love. And so it's like, if he's going to respond in love because of that love with the Lord, then it's way more likely that he's going to do the same thing with a girl that he loves. So that's my take.
That is good. That's very good.
That was amazing.
The English teacher worded it well. Alrighty, so all right, so ladies, what is that? We'll go ahead, I guess. Elissa, you can go ahead and answer that.
Okay, so I want to kind of answer it for myself and then answer it for looking outside. So for me, kind of an inward self-assessment is, if I'm willing to get excited and like put passion and energy into just general things in life, why would I not take that same approach to my walk with God? And like, I've spent a lot of time on platforms and different things, and I've seen people that are just up there for the show and everything. But if you're like on the praise team or you're whatever, you're in a position of leading people into worship. That's your purpose. And for me, I have to prioritize being able to actually worship and not just get caught up in going through the motions. And so when I turn around and I evaluate somebody else, I'm going to be holding it to that same standard, that if I see them, you know, getting all excited about going on a roller coaster, but they can't run in church and they can't, you know, dance in the spirit and stuff, like there's a disconnect there, that they're not prioritizing their walk with God. And that's not attractive at all. Like you should give God your best.
Yeah.
And if you're giving something in the world or just, you know, something in your life, maybe it's not ungodly, but it's not God, that just doesn't add up. And if they can't prioritize their walk with God before they get with you, what makes you think that they can lead you and carry the godly head of the relationship the way they should? Like, I'm a strong personality. I'm not about to get out here. Aviel's heard this a lot of times. I'm not about to get out here and lead this relationship and everything and like drive the whole thing. Like, I need somebody that's like a couple steps ahead that like I can bounce stuff off of, that has developed their walk with God and everything. Cause I don't want to baby somebody. Like, that just does not work. So like,
Plus that's
go ahead, Janeslin.
no, I was just gonna say, plus that's the way it's supposed to be. The husband is supposed to be the spiritual head of the home. He's supposed to be the one leading. If he's the head, he's the one going forward, and he's supposed to be bringing his family further. You know, it shouldn't be the wife, contrary to what a lot of feminists nowadays would like to say, even the stuff creeping in the church. So, but yeah, those are very good points.
Side note, girls, don't accept any less. Like, if you put up with it, it will continue.
Hear that? Okay, so all right, there's a lot of comments, a lot of people amening, a lot of people. So we're going to go ahead and continue, finish up this question. Then we'll take a comment break and just read some of these comments because they're really, they're really, they're great. All right, so Janessa, did you want to go ahead and answer that question?
Yeah. Well, honestly, I'll answer the question the way it was asked really quickly. And when I see just people in general, and even girls as well, a little bit more so with the girls, because kind of like what Ava said, we tend to put a lot more effort and concern into our appearances. We're females, that's kind of natural. And so when I see girls who, you know, look really nice, look cute, so they do care about their appearance, but not so much to where it hinders them from getting what they can get from God, and they break out in true, genuine, crazy worship. That touches me, and it like makes me honestly feel like, am I missing out? Like, I want to make sure I get from God what I can get. And so I similarly to what Alyssa said, that you know, you don't want to go through the motions. And so I do my best to like really zero in on the vein of the Holy Ghost so that I can get what God has for me and it be genuine, you know. But seeing guys do it, it is very attractive, especially honestly. I know I did say girls tend to care more about their appearance, and it's true. But these guys, these 2020, 2021 guys, I'm like, okay. I mean, I get it, but at the same time, not fully, because they seem to be, some of them seem to be more into how they look and how they come across to people than even some of the females are. And that's not attractive. It really isn't. So also, similarly to how the guys were saying how they see girls like just giving their all, as a female, that is very attractive, at least in my opinion, because it's like, again, kind of going piggybacking off of the answer to my answer to the first question. It's like, okay, he doesn't care about what other people think. He's there to get what he can get from God. And that's like, I mean, because I'm thinking, well, actually, I haven't actually looked at a guy and thought this, but I would be thinking that, okay, if I am married to this man or to a man, and we were going through something in our family situation, and we needed something from God, and we needed the head of our house to plug into the Holy Ghost, like, I wouldn't want someone who would pass up an opportunity to get what he can get from God when the opportunity is there, because he cares about what other people think of him, or he cares about sweating in his expensive suit, or he cares about looking like a fool. Like, you thinking that are making yourself a fool. And because you can't, that, I mean, how are you going to exalt anything above God? And Carmen, what you said, like, I was like, amen, and yes, girl, because I love deep connections. And it's like, if my husband isn't going to have a deep connection with the perfect God of the universe who loves him unconditionally, what, even during the times where I feel like I don't love him conditionally, how is he going to love me that way when I'm imperfect? You know what I mean? So there's a lot that kind of goes through your mind when you really think about certain things. And so, yeah, a guy giving his all in worship genuinely, it's like, man, it's so beautiful, one, and it's very touching, because it's like, wow, that's you're in God's special moment. And so,
yeah. That's what's up. Maya, you got anything you want to chime in on that?
Yeah, of course. Everything that has been said is just so on point and so beautiful. I definitely want to put like add in more a practical sense. So like when I read the question as far as crazy in worship, I do want to bring back that each person and how they worship God may look different. You know, so like for me, I'm more of a crier, not necessarily a shouter type of person. So like for example, we have prayer service, and for some reason when I cry a lot of snot comes out. I'm sorry if that was gross, but you know, my pastor is always like, sometimes you gotta get ugly for the Lord. So I don't know if I'm gonna be a man during that prayer service, but that's where it comes to sincerity and just keep in perspective that the way one girl might worship or one guy might worship might be somewhat different, but you should be able to discern the same spirit, which is the Holy Ghost. So, you know, just keeping that in mind, because like also I was kind of like preparing and looking up. So 1 Samuel 16 with verse 7, which is at the point where David's about to be anointed. God reminds the prophet that he looks at the heart, whereas we look at appearance. So again, it kind of goes back to what we were saying earlier with the day-to-day, that sincerity of worship in the way that they live, and not just how you see them at church, because you want to see that sincerity. And because I can't look at you know, Carmen's worship and be like, oh, I can see the sincerity of her heart. I don't know her heart, but I can, you know, see her works day to day, which will give me an indication of her sincerity for her through her worship that I saw at church on Sunday, or, you know, whenever you have church service. So just giving a more practical application, reminding that worship really comes to the sincerity of it. And one crazy might be crying, one crazy might be shouting, maybe you're a runner, maybe you're a dancer, I don't know. But so just keeping that in mind as well.